During the typhoon, I asked my boyfriend, Ryan, to take shelter at my place. Before long, there was a knock at the door. I was just about to open it when suddenly, live comments flashed before my eyes. Don't open the door. It's not just Ryan outside. It's his whole family. Don't let them in, otherwise you'll die. Asterisk asterisk my hand, which had been reaching for the door, paused. The comments continued, sweetie, whatever you do, don't open that door. If you do, that whole family will come in, and you won't be able to get rid of them. They insist on opening the windows during the typhoon. You can't stop them, your home will be destroyed. They're even going to throw your cat out the window when you try to save it. The wind blows you both off and you fall to your death. Don't open the door, sweetie, please. The knocking persisted and the comments multiplied. The screen was flooded with variations of don't open the door. I withdrew my hand. After all, I live alone. It's better to be safe than sorry. If Ryan had really brought his entire family, I wouldn't let them in. But I had no way to verify if the comments were true. There's no peephole on my door. I remembered I had installed a doorbell camera. I opened the app on my phone. Unsurprisingly, it was out of battery. My fault for forgetting to charge it. Thinking for a moment, I pressed my ear against the door, listening for any sounds. But apart from the deafening knocking, I couldn't hear anything. I pulled my head back, planning to video call Ryan to check. Unexpectedly, just then, the knocking stopped. Ryan's voice came from outside. Why isn't anyone opening the door? I messaged her before coming. She said she was home. I pressed my ear against the door again. No other sounds came from outside. It sounded like Ryan was muttering to himself. Immediately, a message from Ryan came through. Sweetie, are you home? I'm at your door. After a moment's thought, I video called him directly, but he declined the call. What's wrong? Another message from Ryan. A bad feeling crept over me. Why wouldn't Ryan answer the video call? He'd only refused once before, when he lied about working overtime, but was actually having dinner with his ex-girlfriend who was about to move abroad. Before I could voice my doubts, another message arrived. Sweetie, I'm right outside. Whatever you have to say, we can talk face to face. I replied directly. Answer the video call first. His reply took a while. Sweetie, my camera's broken. At this point, I was absolutely certain Ryan was hiding something from me. Most likely, it was exactly what the comment said. He'd brought his family along. Asterisk asterisk, Ryan and I met at university and started dating. He pursued me. I agreed mainly because he was handsome, on the level of the university heartthrob. Plus, his grades were good and he treated me well. Our relationship had always been smooth. After graduation, he mentioned settling down and getting married. But I was hesitant because of his family background. His family is from a remote, impoverished village, the kind that's officially listed as poor. He was the only Phoenix who flew out from there. My family, on the other hand, is quite well off. Mom runs a business, dad is a university professor. The flat I live in now was bought for me by mom when I started university, right near the campus. Ryan had been over a few times, but he didn't live here, mainly because I didn't want to cohabit before marriage and his company was quite far from here. He rented a place near his office. But this typhoon was massive, a direct red alert. The area he rented was low-lying and prone to flooding. So I asked him to come stay with me for a few days to wait it out. But he never mentioned bringing his family. I didn't even know his family had come to the city. Just then, some new comments appeared. Sweetie doesn't know yet, but her hesitation about getting married has Ryan frantic. Yeah, since she doesn't want to visit his hometown, his family all came here, saying they want to meet their future daughter-in-law. Ryan hadn't even arranged the meeting yet when they ran into the typhoon. It's a good thing she didn't meet them. It's not the right time. Plus, Ryan's family is ridiculously stingy. With Ryan's high salary, they still won't stay in a hotel. They insist on cramming the whole family into his tiny rented room. And now they all want to come stay here. Exactly. Don't let them in, otherwise our sweet white moonlight character will die. And somehow Ryan gets stimulated by it and becomes super successful. There's no justice. The comments kept coming. I gathered that, apparently, I was a character in a novel. In the plot, I was the male lead's Ryan. Early deceased white moonlight. After my accidental death during this typhoon, Ryan would be devastated. He'd pour all his energy into work, becoming a company CEO at a young age, and then meet the female lead, who looked just like me. I watched the comments silently, regardless of whether this was some novel plot. All I knew was that I didn't want to die. The knocking interrupted my thoughts. Ryan was knocking and shouting, Sweetie, it's me, Ryan. I was annoyed and sent him a message directly. I'm not home. The knocking stopped. A message from Ryan arrived immediately. Did you go out to buy groceries? I'll wait here for you then. I then remembered he'd said he would bring some groceries over. I told him I'd prepare the food to save him money, considering his financial situation. He'd agreed that in the past, when I went shopping, I'd sometimes video called him to ask if he wanted anything. Probably because of that, he didn't suspect anything. Ryan's voice came from outside. She's not home, she went out to buy groceries. Finally, I heard other voices. What's this about? We've come all this way, and she picks now to go shopping, leaving us waiting outside her door? The speaker was an older woman, probably Ryan's mother. A slightly younger woman also spoke, exactly, putting on such airs. What's so great about being a city person? This was likely Ryan's sister-in-law. Ryan spoke up immediately. Enough, both of you, the typhoon is about to hit. You didn't want to stay in a hotel, so I had to bring you here. She doesn't like crowds, which is why I didn't tell her beforehand. If I had, she definitely wouldn't have agreed to let you in. An older man sounded angry. How dare she? She wouldn't agree to let us in. I am the one who hasn't agreed to let her into our family yet. Ryan spoke again. Dad, calm down. This isn't the village. Even if we get inside later, don't put on your patriarchal airs, all right? The man snorted and fell silent. A younger man spoke, probably Ryan's older brother. When she gets here and sees so many of us, will she really let us in? Ryan replied, we're already here. And there's a typhoon dot she won't refuse. The comments were furious. She did refuse last time when she saw how many of you there were. But you forced your way in. And what patriarchal airs? Once inside, his mom insisted on opening the windows for ventilation, saying that's how they do it back home. His dad wanted to throw the cat out, saying you can't have babies with a cat around. And Ryan was like a quail, not stopping them at all. Well, exactly. His nephew threw a tantrum wanting to play with the figurines, and when he was refused, he smashed the entire display case. The white moonlight was so angry she threatened to call the police. Only then did Ryan try to mediate, saying he'd pay for the damages and they'd leave after the typhoon. But then his mom secretly opened the window again. The wind scared the cat, which scratched his dad. His dad tried to throw the cat out the window. The cat survived by clinging to the window ledge. The white moonlight went to save it and was blown off by the strong wind, becoming a real white moonlight in the sky. I was trembling with anger, almost unable to keep reading the comments. My cat, sensing my distress, came over and rubbed against my legs. Having them all stuck outside my door wasn't a solution either. After thinking, I sent Ryan another message. I didn't go shopping. I changed my mind and went to Joy's place. Go back home. If you think it's dangerous, you can get a hotel room. Joy is my best friend. She never liked Ryan, and I used to think she was being overly sensitive. Turns out, a best friend's intuition is sharp. The family outside soon found out I wasn't home and that I de-stood them up last minute. A stream of profanity, heavily featuring the word mum, erupted. Soon, another message from Ryan arrived. Sweetie, why didn't you say so earlier? I'm already here. I replied, you can always go back. The weather isn't too bad yet outside. It's often calm before a typhoon hits. His reply was quick. My place will definitely flood. Hotels are too expensive. How about you just give me the passcode? I'll just stay at your place for 2 days. I scoffed. So he was determined to get in today, was he? I refused outright. That's not convenient. Joy wants to talk. I'm busy. After that, I ignored all his subsequent messages. Ryan and his family were so angry they started cursing and shouting right outside my door. It was the first time I'd seen this side of Ryan. Remembering the content of the comments sent a chill down my spine. Thank goodness I hadn't let them in. But then, I heard his father's voice. She's not home, you say? Can you guess her door passcode? My hair stood on end. Ryan had been to my flat a few times. I never told him the passcode, but I hadn't hidden it from him when I typed it in either. He might have seen it. Moreover, my door doesn't have a security chain. I couldn't even lock it from the inside, meaning anyone with the passcode could open the door. But Ryan said he hadn't paid attention. I breathed a sigh of relief. Then I heard him say he could try. Anyway, I know all her family members' birthdays. My heart leapt into my throat. My passcode is my cat's birthday. We had celebrated it together once. My mind raced. I quietly moved a chair to block the door. The comments started scrolling again. That's not enough, sweetie. The 3 grown men will just shove it open. By now, Ryan had tried once. Incorrect, he was preparing for a second attempt. I couldn't drag anything heavier, so I added another chair and stacked any boxes I could move on top of them. My cat seemed to sense the danger too, its back slightly arched. His second attempt failed. He tried a third time. I live in an old residential complex. The property management is practically non-existent, and there are no security guards. I have no relatives in the city, and my best friend and other friends are all women. Dealing with this whole family would be too dangerous. I prepared to call the police. Just then, someone else spoke outside. What are you lot doing? It was the neighbor from upstairs. Ryan's voice immediately responded. I'm here to see my girlfriend, Lynn. She had to go out, said we could wait inside for her. A bad feeling washed over me. My relationship with the upstairs neighbor isn't good. They have 2 kids who often make noise late at night. I've complained to them. Even called the police. It didn't help, it got worse. I had no choice but to secretly get a ceiling vibrator, which finally quieted them down a bit. Now, with this crowd of seemingly troublesome people at my door, he was probably eager to stir up trouble. Sure enough, I soon heard the neighbor's doubtful voice. But she is home. There was silence from Ryan outside. The neighbor, as if thinking Ryan didn't believe him, spoke again. She came back over an hour ago. I've been sitting downstairs the whole time. I never saw her leave again. Silence from outside. After a good while, I heard Ryan's voice, sounding strained. Thanks. The neighbor left. My hand gripping the phone tightened. Then, the knocking started again, louder and more frantic than before. Ryan knocked and shouted, Lynn, aren't you home? Why aren't you opening the door? I've been here for ages. His voice sounded frantic now. His relatives outside were also cursing me loudly. What kind of person is she? She's home, but won't open the door. Does she look down on my son or our Cheng family? That was his dad. Then his mom chimed in, exactly. And she still wants to marry our Xiaoyuan. If her family doesn't provide a dowry of at least 800,000 to 1,000,000, there's no deal. His sister-in-law also spoke. Mom, you'll have to establish authority over her later. She needs to be taught a lesson, or she'll think she can get away with anything. His brother was silent. His nephew started chanting, teach her a lesson, teach her a lesson. The noise was grating on my nerves. I didn't respond to the knocking. Then the knocking stopped and Ryan directly called me, flustered. I declined. He called a few more times. I didn't answer any. Then, an ear-splitting banging started at the door again. To be accurate, it wasn't knocking anymore, it was pounding. Ryan shouted angrily, Lynn, open the door, open the damn door. The cat was startled by the noise. Getting stressed, I quickly picked it up, settled it in my room, and closed the door to muffle the sound a bit. Then, I called the police. Don't hide in there ignoring me. I know you're home. Fearful he might try the passcode again, I pushed a heavier chair against the door. Perhaps hearing the noise inside, Ryan started pounding even harder. I waited silently for the police to arrive. Right then, a message popped up in the residential complex's group chat. Who's making all that knocking noise? It's bloody loud. Someone else agreed, yeah. It's not bedtime yet. But this is too much. Is nobody home? Can someone go tell them to stop? The upstairs neighbor chimed in then. It's flat 501, her boyfriend's here. Having a lover's tiff or something. But the woman just won't open the door, leaving her boyfriend and his whole family stuck outside. The typhoon's about to hit any minute, and there's even a kid out there. Is just heartless. The pounding continued, somewhat at me. Can you ask them to stop knocking? It's really too noisy. My child needs to do homework. Yeah, can't you talk it out properly? It's a typhoon. You can't just lock people out. If something happens, it'll be a big problem. The upstairs neighbor added more fuel. Exactly. Flat 501. Just let them in. They seem like simple, honest folks. Why bully decent people? I replied directly, sorry, neighbors, I didn't know my boyfriend brought others. I live alone and don't dare let them all in. I've already called the police. They should be here soon to handle it. Most people in this complex are reasonable, and some expressed understanding. But the upstairs neighbor kept stirring the pot, making a big fuss over nothing, calling the police. Just open the door and let them in. Problem solved. I replied to him, if you're so concerned, why don't you let them stay at your place? The neighbor retorted, what's it got to do with me? I'm just annoyed by the noise. Who knows when the police will come? Are you just going to let them keep knocking like this? My eldest can't even concentrate on homework. Your eldest rarely does homework anyway. I've heard enough arguments from your flat to last a lifetime. But this disturbance was indeed my problem, so I didn't bother replying further. Just as I was about to call Ryan and tell him to stop knocking, I heard an angry shout. What do you think you're doing? The comments scrolled again. Thank goodness, it's the police. The police are here. Our sweetie is saved. The police had finally arrived. I breathed a sigh of relief. Outside, Ryan laughed awkwardly. Officer, I'm the resident's boyfriend. She's home, but won't open the door. I'm worried something might have happened to her. The others chimed in, yes, yes. We're just worried about her. The officer ignored them and knocked on the door directly. I moved the chairs away and cautiously opened the door. This was my first time seeing Ryan's family. They all looked burly and strong. If I had opened the door, I truly wouldn't have been able to stop them. Ryan's mom and sister-in-law, seeing the door open, immediately tried to push their way in with their luggage. The police stopped them. What are you doing? This shot was even sharper than the previous one. Ryan's mom faltered. Then she said with an awkward laugh, Officer, sir, my son's girlfriend has finally opened the door. We're just coming in to rest. The officer was angry. You think you can just walk into someone else's home? She is the one who called us, reporting you for harassment. Ryan's sister-in-law grew anxious. How can it be harassment? This is my brother-in-law's girlfriend's home. We're all family. Ryan also became frantic. Yes? She really is my girlfriend. She's the one who asked me to come. He showed the officer our chat history. The officer looked at me. I pointed at Ryan and explained, I only invited him alone. I didn't know he brought so many people. I don't even know them. Ryan was somewhat angry. They're all my family. You'll know them once they're inside. Exactly, shutting out elders and children outside the door. So unreasonable. The speaker was the upstairs neighbor, who had come down to watch the spectacle. I refused firmly. No. This is my home. I do not agree to let people I'm not familiar with inside. Moreover, I've already said you can go to Ryan's place or stay in a hotel. Ryan's dad spoke up. Stay in a hotel? What money do we have for a hotel? Not even married yet and so wasteful. Absolutely unacceptable. Who wants to marry into your family anyway? Suppressing my anger, I added, then just go back to Ryan's place. Isn't that fine? His sister-in-law adopted a slightly softer tone. Little sister, it was you who said you were worried Ryan's place, being low-lying, might flood. That's why you asked him to come. We all live together, so of course we came together. Little sister, just let us all in. I almost laughed in disbelief. I said to Ryan, so, you tell your family everything I say? But I had no idea they were coming to my place today. In short, they are not welcome in my home. Also, we're over. Don't harass me anymore. Hearing this, Ryan was stunned. "You're breaking up with me just because I brought my family to take shelter from the typhoon for a couple of days." The neighbor continued fanning the flames. "Young man, she's just a snob who looks down on your family, that's all." Ryan's eyes blazed with anger as he looked at me. "You're picking a typhoon to break up. Where are we supposed to go if not your place? Do you want us to die out here?" As if staying in a hotel wasn't an option that even entered their minds. I sighed, massaging my temples. Even the police officer had had enough. "All right, that's enough. This young lady doesn't want you staying at her place. If you don't want to go back to your own place, then find a hotel. Or I can help you find a cheaper hostel or guest house." Hearing this, Ryan's mom plopped down on the floor, starting to wail and make a scene. "We're not leaving. How can she break up just like that? My son hasn't even agreed. We're staying right here today. We're not going anywhere." Ryan's dad also said, "Cheaper hostels must be terrible. Are they even fit for people? And it still costs money." The officer ignored them, looked at Ryan. "Take your family and leave. If you keep causing trouble, I'll have to take you all to the station." Ryan's family might not understand, but Ryan did. Further trouble would do him no good. If he got charged with creating a disturbance, he could even lose his good job. He pressed his lips together, then led his whole family away. As they left, Ryan's mom was still howling. "There's no justice. The police only help city folks." But this wasn't their village. No one around paid her any mind. Finally, they were gone. The neighbor curled his lip and went back upstairs. I thanked the police, closed the door, and finally relaxed. They wouldn't be getting in, I thought. Then I wouldn't die. But too much had happened today, and I was still shaken. So I called my best friend and told her about the day's events. To my surprise, after hearing it, she said, "Lynn, maybe you should move in with me for now. I think Ryan gave up too easily. He might come back looking for you later. I don't think he's the type to give up so easily." As if to prove her words, Ryan soon sent another WeChat message. "I was wrong, sweetie. I shouldn't have brought my family without telling you. But I love you so much. I just wanted you to meet my parents. I just went about it the wrong way. Please forgive me, okay? I've already settled them in a hotel. It's just me now. I want to talk to you properly. If you're still worried, we can talk outside. The typhoon hasn't hit properly yet. Let's go to a nearby cafe." The comments appeared again. "Sweetie, white moonlight. Don't believe him. His mom suggested he conquer you, get you pregnant, and then control you. His family wants to take advantage of you being the only heir." His brother also said, "You can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. They should endure it for now and deal with you after you're married." They were still thinking about this. I felt nauseated and immediately blocked Ryan on WeChat. Soon, Ryan sent a text message. "Sweetie, I know you're still angry. It's fine. I'll wait for you downstairs." I went to the balcony to look. Sure enough, he was sitting downstairs. The sky was gradually darkening, the wind had picked up, and a light rain had started. As if sensing my gaze, he looked up and smiled at me. It held a hint of pitiable pleading. Despite the summer heat, I felt a chill. Using this pitiful act, all for my money. I couldn't help but recall his hero saving the beauty when we first met. The pampering and gentleness when he pursued me and during our relationship, probably all fake. I thought about the plot mentioned in the comments. How he seemed stimulated after my death. Now that I think about it, wasn't the stimulus probably the fact that he couldn't take advantage of me being the only heir anymore? I immediately turned back to my room and messaged my best friend, telling her I was coming over right now. At that moment, I just wanted to get away from Ryan as quickly as possible. And I packed my things quickly and brought my cat along. I made sure all the windows were closed and sealed with tape against the typhoon. Once everything was ready, I left my flat. Just as I stepped downstairs, I saw Ryan's eyes light up as he stood up, walking towards me with a smile. "You finally came down to see me." Then he saw my suitcase. The smile froze on his face. "You're leaving? Where are you going in this typhoon?" I said coldly, "We've broken up. Where I go is none of your business." Ryan gave an awkward laugh. "How can we be broken up? I haven't agreed. Breaking up doesn't require your agreement." I finished and walked past him towards my car. In this old complex, cars are parked by the roadside, so it was quite close. Ryan moved to help me with the suitcase. I ignored him. He immediately pulled open the passenger door and got in. I looked at him coldly. "Get out, or I'll call the police." Ryan didn't move, looking at me with pleading eyes. "Lynn, can we just talk? 5 years together. Can you really end it just like that?" I directly dialed the police. Seeing me so resolute, Ryan promptly got out of the car. "Don't call the police. Let's talk properly. If it's not convenient today, I'll find you another time." I glanced at him and said dismissively, "Fine, when I have time." Then I got in the car and drove off. In the rearview mirror, Ryan remained standing there, watching me leave. He looked deeply affectionate, but I knew it was all an act. I had just settled in at my best friend's place when I received an alert from my home security system. Someone had entered my flat. I checked the live feed. As expected, it was Ryan and his whole family. Before leaving, I had thought about it and decided not to change the door passcode. Then I went back inside and packed all my important belongings, leaving behind some high-value but less crucial items. I knew I'd have to pass by Ryan when leaving, and he'd likely tell his family. I was betting that Ryan's family knowing I wasn't home, would still try to get in. The result? I won the bet. Rather than have them harass me continuously, it was better to deal with them all at once. In the surveillance video, they looked thrilled. Ryan's mom touched this and that, smiling at Ryan. "See, I told you staying here is better. Worlds apart from that cheap hostel. You were worried about this and that. If we don't tell, how would she know we stayed at her place?" I scoffed. So Ryan saying they checked into a hotel was a lie. I wondered how they'd suddenly become willing to let Ryan spend money. His dad said, "Exactly. Even the cheapest hostel costs money. Staying here for free is much better." His sister-in-law added, "Yeah, the city is nice. I see there are schools nearby. Let's have Sean study here in the future." Ryan finally spoke. "This flat belongs to Lynn. Enrolling in school here requires a local residency permit. Probably not possible," his mom, upon hearing this, said. "Then you hurry up and secure her. Then we can transfer Sean's residency permit here. He's the eldest grandson of our family. You need to take this seriously." Watching Ryan nod, I was both furious and amused. Incredible. They had it all planned out. As if the flat was already theirs to arrange. My best friend peeked over. "You really let them into your home? Aren't you afraid they'll wreck the place?" I smiled. "All the better to send them to jail. As for the damaged flat, I'll just renovate. It was getting a bit old in various aspects anyway." While we were talking, they had finished dividing out the rooms. Ryan's parents took my master bedroom. His brother, sister-in-law, and nephew took the second bedroom, and Ryan slept on the living room sofa. Once settled, Ryan's mom opened every window in every room. Ryan saw it and tried to stop her, but she retorted, "I've never seen anyone die from wind, but I will suffocate if the windows stay closed." His sister-in-law chimed in, "Exactly, your girlfriend seems terrible with money. So hot. Yet closing windows and using the AC. Such a waste of electricity. She'll have to learn properly from us." After marrying in, then, Ryan actually gave in. Well, the wind wasn't strong yet, and the rain had even stopped. The weather seemed fine. Opening windows didn't seem like a big deal. Suddenly, a crashing sound came from the study. I switched the camera view. Sure enough, my figurine collection was scattered all over the floor by his nephew, some shattered. Ryan heard the noise and rushed over. Seeing the mess, he was visibly angry. He said to his nephew, "I told you not to touch anything in here." His nephew pouted, "I just wanted to play with them. Who knew the cabinet was so flimsy? I just took one and the rest all fell out." I rewound the footage. Oh. He wanted the one on the top shelf but couldn't reach. In his hurry, he climbed onto a stool, lost his balance, bumped into the cabinet, and all the figurines came tumbling down. A truly qualified troublemaker, causing major trouble for his family right from the start. Ryan was about to yell, but his mom immediately came in and hugged his nephew. "Why are you shouting at the child? They're just cheap plastic toys. You can just buy new ones to replace them." Ryan's eyes widened. "Cheap plastic? Do you have any idea how much these cost? A single one can be thousands. This whole cabinet is probably worth over 100,000. Ryan's mom still didn't believe it, pursing her lips. "Who are you trying to fool? These plastic toys cost a few quid each back in the village." Ryan seemed tired to argue with her. I didn't know how he planned to handle it, but it wasn't important. I had already gathered the purchase orders for the remaining figurines. Took photos before I left, let them pay up anyway. I could still repurchase all these figurines. After this incident, perhaps feeling somewhat guilty, the family quieted down a bit. Coincidentally, my lovely best friend had finished cooking. We ate while watching the footage. I had brought all the food from my place. There was nothing to eat over there, so they had the flatbread they brought for dinner. Ryan's dad even opened a bottle of mithai I had at home, but Ryan didn't say anything, because his dad didn't open it. In front of him, the wine had been poured out beforehand. He probably thought his dad brought his own alcohol. After eating, they returned to their respective rooms. I switched the camera to the master bedroom. With nothing to do, his mom started rummaging around. Then she found my jewelry box. Her eyes nearly popped out when she opened it. She took out piece after piece, trying them on for a long time. Finally, she reluctantly put them back. Then, I saw her hesitate for a moment before taking two necklaces and a bracelet and stuffing them into her pocket. Gold prices had soared recently. The pieces she took, though simple in design, were heavy, probably worth over 100,000. Good. With this, I had pretty much collected enough evidence. This family was likely to face serious jail time. I stopped paying attention to them and chatted with my best friend about life. As for calling the police, I'd wait until after the typhoon passed tomorrow. The police have a tough job. No need to make them go out in a typhoon. I was woken by the sound of howling wind. Checking my phone, it was already 3 a.m. According to forecasts, this was around the time the typhoon was making landfall. After a moment's thought, I opened the surveillance app. The feed showed complete chaos. Furniture was overturned, belongings scattered everywhere. No one was in the living room or the master bedroom. I switched to the second bedroom. The whole family was huddled there. The window glass had shattered. The audio feed was filled with the roar of the wind. Judging by their expressions, they were terrified. But other than that, they seemed physically fine. So I went back to sleep, slept soundly through the night, waking up the next morning. The strongest part of the typhoon had mostly passed. Now it was mainly heavy rain. I called the police. Arriving at the complex with my best friend and the police, we found a crowd gathered downstairs. An ambulance was also there, pushing through. I saw Ryan lying unconscious on the ground. The Cheng family was wailing and crying beside him. Ryan's mom spotted me and suddenly charged over. But the police stopped her. She pointed at me and screamed, "You killed my son. You jinx." The paramedic attending to Ryan looked up. "He's not dead yet." Ryan's mom continued her hysterics. "I don't care. It's because you told my son to come that he ended up like this." And Sean, my precious grandson's face got cut by the glass from your flat. He's disfigured. All the luggage we brought got blown away. You have to pay. My best friend and I exchanged a look, utterly speechless. They were trying to pin everything on me. I said directly, "Madam, you trespassed into my home without my permission. I've already reported it to the police. Discuss any issues you have with them." I couldn't be bothered to argue with them. The police confirmed they had broken into my flat and were preparing to take them away. They started acting up again, but it was useless, crying and shouting. They were taken to the police station. At the station, they still tried to deny it. Ryan's brother said, "We didn't force our way in. If she hadn't given us the passcode, how could we have entered her flat?" I produced the footage from my doorbell camera. I had briefly charged the doorbell camera. Before leaving home, it clearly showed them trying different passcodes. Moreover, I had called the police earlier. There was a record of it. Ryan's sister-in-law said, "Couldn't we just take shelter in her place during the typhoon? It's not like she was staying there anyway." I was amazed by her logic. Then I showed footage of her son destroying my figurines, plus her mother-in-law stealing my jewelry. Oh, and also the part where the whole family opened my windows, leading to the destruction inside. Settle it all together. She denied it. Doesn't matter. Trespassing is something she participated in. I refused any mediation. They must compensate for my losses. Plus, face the full legal consequences for their actions. After handling things at the station, I reviewed the footage from during the typhoon. I clearly remembered that when I checked earlier, Ryan was still fine. It turned out that later, Sean's face got cut by the broken window glass, and Ryan's mom insisted Ryan find medicine for her precious grandson. Ryan couldn't refuse her. Helpless, he went to the living room. The entire balcony in the living room was gone. The wind was fierce. He couldn't keep his footing and was directly blown off the building. The man was incredibly lucky. A tree broke his fall, so he didn't die. Instantly, he was still in the hospital undergoing emergency surgery. But according to medical staff, given his condition, he probably wouldn't last long. In the end, the Cheng family members received their due punishments. Some went to prison. Some were detained. I sued them for my losses. They had no money, so I applied for compulsory enforcement. Their only property was sold off. They still couldn't pay the rest, no matter. They were officially listed as defaulters. From then on, any money appearing in their accounts would be automatically deducted and given to me until the debt was fully repaid. I didn't live in that old complex flat anymore. I bought a new flat near my best friend's place. The original home was utterly wrecked. I used the compensation money to renovate it slowly. Mainly, I scheduled the renovation work, including hammering on the ceiling, strictly within the permitted hours. As for what the upstairs neighbor thought, I didn't care. He could call the police, and I was fully compliant with the regulations. Finally, about Ryan, he died not long after. I heard that. Before he died, he had a moment of lucidity. He mumbled some incoherent things, something about how I should have died, not him, that he was supposed to be a CEO, etc. None of that mattered. In short, he died. It was then that I suddenly realized I hadn't seen any live comments since the day I left home during the typhoon. Probably because the plot had changed, my part was no longer important. I suppose the male and female leads in that same world were the ones I cared more about. But regardless, those comments had changed my fate. I am deeply grateful to those people in another world who posted those live comments.